So let's look at module 2 of chapter 6, manufacturing process. In this module, we'll be talking about various manufacturing processes. Okay, and there are quite a few types of manufacturing processes, and we'll be going through each one of them. I've also given you some videos to look at for examples on many of these manufacturing processes. So there are 4 basic types of manufacturing processes, and then there is another one which is called the project part of it. So let's look at the project. The project basically is a product. Everything is in a fixed location. It's like, let's say you want to do a wooden deck out at the back of your house, and that is a project. Okay. A work center, on the other hand, is where you have this is like a job shop, in the sense that you have one machine that can do many things or many processes, and that is a work center. The third one is a manufacturing cell. You might have 4 or 5 different machines, and then all of them are done together in one particular place, and in a place called a cell. Okay, like a small room with a robot in it or a person in it who can do various things in one place or use various machines in one place. Then you have an assembly line. Assembly line is where the product is actually moving. So you start like for instance, cars are made in assembly lines, planes are made in assembly lines, ships are made in assembly lines, and all these are made in such a way that the product starts. Let's say for a car, first thing they do is to bring the chassis and put it on the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt moves. So as the chassis is put, then it moves to another place or a work cell where you can put the tires, and then or the wheels and the tires. Then the chassis with the wheels and tires moves on, and then they will put the steering wheels and the engines, and after that so on and so forth till the body, all that stuff, till it is painted and it is sent out as a car. So that is an assembly line. A continuous process basically is usually you have one machine which basically continuously make stuff. For instance, chocolates are made like that. Chocolate bars are made like that. Pharmaceutical tablets are made like this as continuous processes. So we're going to be looking at those examples as such. This is the classic product process matrix, and this gives you a lot of information. For instance, if you see this, you have something called inefficient process, and you have mass customization. This is where you make a lot of products, volume. So if the product volume is low, like a project, so it can be done only one at a time. So it is very inefficient. You're not doing many things at the same time. If you're going to build a deck, you're going to build a deck. You're not building a house and a deck at the same time, because you need to build the house first, then only the deck, right? So that is the idea of a project. The work center has got a little more volume to it, but still it is the product standardization is very low. The third one is a manufacturing cell. Here it is actually a pretty good way of doing things. So you're accomplishing many things in one place. So that's why the product volume can be more as well. Then you have an assembly line, which is very efficient, and as well as it is going to be a standardized product, and the product volume can be quite a bit. So you're making like 1,000 cars a day kind of a thing. So it's pretty efficient to do all these things. The last one is continuous processes, where you can make tens and thousands and even millions of tablets in a day. That is mass customization. So the volume is really high. So this gives you a product process matrix. Let's look at all the things that we talked about, summarize them. Project layout. It's in a fixed location. the degree of task is very high, and it is done only one at a time, kind of a thing. So there is a project. Work center is quite a number of things can happen in one place. It's an optimal placement of work centers or machines in one place. So basically, there are a lot of processes that can be done in one place. For instance, if you want to make a table, the top of the table with holes in it, so you bring a plank, you cut it in the same machine, you drill holes for the screws and nuts in the same machine. So you're accomplishing two tasks in one place, right? And that is what a work center does. Manufacturing cell basically is a little more. So it's actually one room where there are many machines, and each machine feeds the end product to the next one so that the final product can be sent out. So that is a manufacturing cell. And continuous layout of assembly line can be done, as we talked about cars and things like that. So how you develop this manufacturing cell? So for instance, you have a cell with many processes. For instance, there is a milling machine, there is a drilling machine, there is a grinding machine, a gear cutting machine, a heat treatment machine, a lathe. So you bring the raw material, bring it to the milling machine, you mill it first to whatever you want to, you drill some holes, then you can heat treat it in this place, and then you go and grind it, and then you cut the gear. Or maybe even you do the milling first, and then you send it to a lathe to make some holes and things like that, or to put some things that you want to, make the shapes that you want to. Then you do the heat treatment and then grind it and then cut it for gears. So it is very flexible. So this manufacturing cell development should be very flexible, and you can have multiple flow patterns. So you can go from this to here, or from here to here to here, whatever you want to do. It should be very flexible. So at the end, it is all done in the assembly and everything is done, given out. So that is a typical manufacturing cell. And the machines can be regrouped as well in the cell, as we see. So you can have one where we have the lathe, the milling machine, the heat treatment, and the grinding machine in cell 3. Or in the cell first, all the machines are there, whatever it is. So it is very flexible. So go through this, go through the book after this, and then view the 4 different examples that I have loaded, and then go to module 3 after that. Okay.